Hi, media team. We're all a little bit lost because we can't find the Zoom link for the meeting for the CCC. I think we're missing something, but if you have input or can help us, please let me know.
Okay, let me double check with Paul here, but we'll get the link sent out to everyone.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
You want to say something?
All right, it looks like we got those invites sent out, so you should be receiving them now or within the next minute or so.
Now just remember you're on.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Ooh, boy. You have to turn your sound off. Yeah.
I can
Okay.
hear you.
Great. Thanks, Julia. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, August 5th. I will call to order the Madison Common Council Executive Committee meeting. Staff, please call the roll.
Am I?
You're good.
Am I on?
Yeah.
Okay. President Vitiver is excused. Vice President Govindarajan.
Here.
Vice President Govindarajan is here. Alder Ugair.
Present.
Alder Ugair is here. Alder Madison.
Here.
Alder Madison is here. Alder Matthews.
Here.
Alder Matthews is here. Alder Lonkella.
Here.
Alder Lonkella is here. Alder Tischler.
Here.
Alder Tischler is here, and Alder Figueroa Cole is excused. You have quorum.
Wonderful. Okay. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from, whoops, my bad. 1 second. Sorry. Yep. The date is August 1st, I think. Is that right? Approval of the minutes. What is that? Oh, July 1st. Approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion for approval of the minutes? And great. With a second from Alder Ugair. Great. Any objection? Okay. Passed. Great. Next on the agenda is public comment. Do we have any registered speakers?
We do not.
Okay. We have no registered speakers in queue. I will close the public hearing. We move on to disclosures and recusals. Members of the body should make any required disclosures or recusals under the city's ethics code. Are there any disclosures or recusals? Seeing none, let's move on to the items on the agenda. Okay, first up on the agenda is Legislature number 89402, which is a presentation on the Madison Sister City delegation visit to Obihiro, Japan. Can I get a motion? Okay, this script is not right.
But you don't, for anything that you don't, I mean, you're good on this one. You can just.
Perfect. Okay, I will be presenting for this. Can everyone see that? Wonderful. Quick 5-minute presentation on the Sister City delegation to Obihiro, Japan. As some of you are aware, this happened at the start of July. Between July 2nd to July 8th is when we were at Obihiro. So here, it's hopefully going to be a little fun. I added some pictures, but the attendees from Madison were Mayor Rhodes Conway, the mayor's partner Amy, myself, and Alder Figueroa Cole, along with Lila DaCosta, who is the staffer in the mayor's office. She is the Sister City coordinator, essentially. And then we also had Jo, who is the Madison Obihiro board president. She also sits on the Sister City collaboration committee, along with Patrick Miles and Emma Hahn, who are members on the Obihiro or the Madison Obihiro board as well. In this picture, you'll see other members from the Obihiro city staff as well. I'm not going to point everyone else out, but that's the picture. The purpose of the trip. Can you?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. Technical difficulties.
Is it in that?
Okay, well, those are the attendees. I guess I can't present it in the full screen, unfortunately. But moving on. The purpose of the trip was to essentially strengthen the relationship between Obihiro and Madison. It was also the 20th year anniversary of our sister city relationship. So we wanted to share best practices in local governance, sustainability, and community development, and represent the city of Madison and its its residents on the international stage. I guess I should also add the city was not taxpayer funded in any manner. That was public early on, but I feel the need to say that now as well. All the attendees paid for themselves. But a little bit about Obihiro that I learned along with a couple others is Obihiro is a mid-sized city similar to Madison. It's in the northern part of Japan as a whole. At the top over here, you'll see the Hokkaido state. So you can think of Hokkaido as the state of Wisconsin and Obihiro as the city of Madison, and Japan as the country, obviously. Obihiro is known for its agriculture, sustainability, and green spaces, and it's famously known for its horse racing. And what I was most interested in visiting was Obihiro University, which is the Obihiro University of Agriculture and Veterinary Medicine. You will see pictures of all of these soon, but this is just a little bit about Obihiro. Some highlights from when we were there, we started out at the Obihiro Museum learning about the history of the Hokkaido state and the city of Obihiro as a whole. We got a lot of history lessons and learned a lot about their culture and beginnings as well. And then we went on to meet the Obihiro mayor and the council. Over here, you can see Mayor Rhodes Conway meeting with the mayor of Obihiro. It might have been helpful for me to put the names on here, but I failed to do so in a presentation that I rushed to create, but that's fine. And then here is me with the council president for Obihiro, so kind of our equivalent. We got a tour of their chambers, which you can see in the picture over here, and they invited us and we shared gifts and exchanged a lot of just discussion on what they wanted to learn, what we wanted to learn. Lots of good discussions happened over there. We then went to the Sister Cities Corner, is what they call it. Madison has been a sister city of Obihiro for about 20 years now. And they have a whole part of their city in like an expo of sorts, just dedicated to all of their sister cities. Madison, I believe, is one of 5 for them. And we have this place over here where previous gifts and trinkets that we have given them, such as the flamingo and anything else, they have on display for everyone in the city of Obihiro to come visit and see. I do have other pictures that I can send to Alders later on as well. I just didn't want to fill the slideshow. But, oh, that's a very weird picture. But we also went to Obihiro University, which is, again, what I was most interested in. The UW-Madison here actually has a longstanding partnership with Obihiro University, and we exchange students and cultural, various different trinkets that they have a long-standing partnership for. So it's very educational for us in the city to go visit Obihiro University and learn about the programs that they offer and how they support their students as they progress through their educational academics, I suppose. They focus most on agriculture and veterinary medicine, as the name suggests, and many of the folks who graduate from Obihiro University stay in Obihiro and Hokkaido as a state overall, and directly go work in agriculture in some way. So it's really cool to see all of that in action. This picture here is me, myself, Alder Figueroa Cole, and the mayor's partner, Amy, in a lecture hall, pretty similar to our classes. I know it's kind of weirdly formatted there, but that's fine. We also part of Obihiro University. We went to see some of their horses that they're raising. These are some students who are learning how to horse ride and training the horses over here. And they also have a brewery on campus, very similar to UW-Madison, I suppose. Or at least we don't have a brewery, but it reminded me of the Union. They make sake, which is their like a famous Japanese alcohol of sorts, and they taught us the process of how they do it. They showed us the factory and everything inside, so it's really cool. And after that, we spent a lot of time on farms. We visited various different farms. We had lots and lots of ice cream. This would be a more comedic presentation if Alder Figueroa Cole was able to join us, because there's a lot of stories here, but we were fed an enormous amount of ice cream, and it was actually pretty wonderful. The flavor here is golden Jersey, but what we learned about Obihiro is a lot of what they make there is sourced locally from the farms, and produce and cattle that they have locally over there. So it was a really wonderful experience, and everything tasted really good. There was also lots of cultural exchanges here. As you can see here, you're seeing the picture on the left side. The mayor gave a gift to a local farmer and his wife. They are the ones who created the ice cream in the picture previously. And then in the middle, it is the mayor, and the man in the back there is the former mayor of Obihiro, who was initially mayor when we created the Sister City collaboration with Obihiro. So we got to visit his space, and we were in... This pictured here is a traditional like matcha tea ceremony, basically a tea ceremony. So didn't take too many pictures because it's supposed to be like a cultural thing, but it's just an opportunity for us to engage and learn about their culture and what the people of Obihiro really value in their society. And then on the right side here, I found this to be really interesting, is there's a UW-Madison School of Agriculture like little flag over there. You know, you travel halfway across the world and UW-Madison's still there. I found that to be really cool. And then much more about the culture as well. We learned about their temples and their shrines, and we got to visit a lot of these places. Whenever you enter their temples and shrines, you have to wash your hands at one of these special fountains just to like cleanse yourself. We got to go inside and see one of these processions happening and learn more about the meanings behind of it all. So it's a great opportunity to kind of learn both the government side of Obihiro, but also the kind of like individual level of what makes the people of Obihiro what they do in their day-to-day life, in the spiritual parts as well. We also got to visit Obihiro High School. This was one of many high schools they have, and I don't remember exactly the name of the high school, but I just put Obihiro High School. Clearly didn't want to take a lot of pictures of the kids there, but they sang us a song, and they invited us. Many of them spoke English. Some of them actually have come to, I believe it was West High School, as exchange students in the past, and there has been a long-standing tradition of having students go from each school to another, either from Madison West to there, or from Obihiro to here. And the students really do appreciate coming to Madison and learning about everything here. They really love the cheese curds, and we got a lot of compliments on that. So they look forward to coming back later this fall semester as well. And then towards the end of those 5 days there, we left Obihiro. Big takeaways. I asked a couple, Alder Figueroa Cole and the mayor what they learned, and here are some of the pictures here. For me personally, I noticed that there are just vending machines absolutely everywhere in Japan. It might seem like a small thing, but for my district, where folks are staying out late, maybe drinking, I thought, oh, if we can get vending machines filled with water on State Street or something like that, that's an easy and safe way to provide hydration to folks who might really need it at a time, just so, you know, restaurants and places might be closed. So that's something I'm personally looking into. Alder Figueroa Cole said that she really appreciated the ecosystem of support that farmers get. A lot of the support that farmers get in Obihiro are from the city and the state directly themselves. There's a lot of subsidies because they do really rely on their farmers for their agriculture and their industry. So the farmers get a lot of information, or I guess lots of support from them. Alder Figueroa Cole also liked the complex and diverse transit system. While we were there in Japan as a whole, we took buses, we took taxis, we took regular trains and high-speed bullets. We took a flight. We did everything but bike, essentially. And the reason for that is because it was 100 degrees outside. So that was a wonderful experience. And she loved that there was a common responsibility within all of the people of Obihiro to just protect the environment, and went beyond more than just protecting the trees or what more. It's part of their culture. They really respected the water and the green life over there. So there were strict rules on what we could and could not do in special places around the environment as well. The mayor said that she really appreciated and learned a lot from the small garbage trucks and the fire trucks that we saw pictured here as well. They were able to get into small places and collect trash quickly without making too much of an issue for folks or cause traffic. And she also really liked the LED street lights designed to shed snow. So you can see on the bottom right over here, there's a traffic light, and it's very flat. And the reason they have the traffic lights designed like that apparently is so it doesn't get snow like, I guess, all blocking it out and stuff like that, I suppose. So it's really cool. And she also said she appreciated the climate resilience over there when there's a lot of snow. Obihiro does not get snow frequently, but when it does, it gets anywhere between 4 to 6 feet of snow at a time. So they get like these little arrows on the sides of the road pointing to each lanes saying, oh, here's where the lanes are, you know, instead of consistently cleaning the snow, because sometimes what happens is it snows and it freezes very quickly and then it's just ice everywhere. So they have a lot of winter climate infrastructure in place that maybe we can learn a lot from. Those are just a couple of the takeaways out of many that I could fit onto a Google slideshow. But later this fall, I do want to highlight for all of the alders here that Obihiro and the city delegation from there will be visiting here later this fall to actually celebrate the 20th year anniversary later this year. So keep an eye out for the details, and we encourage alders to participate. I can say personally myself, prior to going on this trip, I did not know much about the Sister City program that we have here, and I did not quite understand why we had it, but going on this trip myself, I had a firsthand experience of, oh, there's a lot to learn from people in places very different than ourselves. And even when you don't think that there are similarities in infrastructure and policies and the issues that they're facing halfway across the world, there tended to be a lot of similar issues and similar ways that we might be addressing them. So there was a lot for me to learn. And I look forward to Obihiro coming to visit us. There's a lot of staff members over there that I was able to meet and look forward to meeting again, hopefully. But yeah, any questions? That was a lot of information. Sorry. Go ahead.
How many council members in?
Oh, in Obihiro? Oh, I don't remember the exact number. There is a
I saw
picture.
a lot of chairs.
Yes, there's a lot of chairs. I want to say at least 35. They had a good amount of council members. One interesting about the council members is almost every single council member there is a farmer, and they only meet a couple times a year. They start meeting around noon. Their meetings go for a couple hours, and that's it. Other than them, their daytime job is they are farming.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
That's good. Thanks.
And then you can see the other people if they raise their hands over there. Click participants. That's your second cue.
Cool. No hands. All right. Wonderful. Thank you for listening to my spiel.
Now you're,
Oh my God, I've been on camera this whole time. Okay.
and they're watching you right now and listening.
Great. All right. Up next, we are going to agenda item 88483, which is creating section 2.035 of the Madison General Ordinance relating to requiring elector signatures with an application to fill a vacancy on the Common Council. Can I get a motion to adopt? Second from anyone? Thank you.
Since they couldn't hear it, let's
Oh,
repeat into
yep.
the mic who moved and who seconded.
With a motion from Alder Longkella and a second from Alder Ugair, we will begin discussion. Great. So this is something I'm introducing, so with no objection, can I speak from the chair? Thank you. Originally, this came out, I will say, even though the motion was to adopt, I am looking for later on a motion to refer to the next council meeting. There are still a lot of discussions I hope to have with the clerk's office on this specifically, and maybe an amendment coming through. But originally, the idea came out of the last vacancy that this council took last session when I was a part of CCEC. We were filling a vacancy to District 19, and I felt as a regular member on the executive committee, there was not a lot of information that we were provided at that moment, and I learned that the way that we currently do alder vacancies is very inconsistent. It depends on who the council president is, and what I intend to do with this ordinance change is to make a consistent way that when we are filling vacancies, there is some consistency in how we are filling them. There is a predictable expectation of what the process will be. Maybe that can make it easier for staff in the future as well as they prepare for vacancies. But at this moment, this ordinance is not exactly ready for voting, in my opinion, if that's okay. So if I can get a motion to refer to the next council meeting, CCEC and council meeting, that would be wonderful.
Make
Oh.
sure they can hear.
Go ahead.
Yep, motion to move to.
1 second. We had a question?
Yeah, since we're still in discussion,
Yes.
I want to just, I'm generally supportive of this. The one thing I have is collecting 20 signatures for some people is not a difficult task. It's just a question of time from when there's a vacancy announced to when the executive committee will start to interview applicants. And I guess I'm just wondering if there's been any thought or discussion about having some, like how many days, 7 days, 10 days, 20 days, and if it's going to be a very quick process, like 3 or 4 days, the 20 signatures might be difficult for some people, not maybe the collecting of it, but just knowing what to do, getting the forms, things like that. So I just wanted to raise that as a concern. For those of us who've done, gone around and collected signatures, it's fairly common. But first time going around, it's a little, it can be a lot to learn. So I wanted to raise that concern, not the signature part, but just making sure that somebody does not get excluded just because they collected, 19 signatures, one of the signatures didn't count or something like that. So there has to be an educational component in here, and I think a time window that should be included.
Yes, 100%. I think, Attorney Haas, do you remember if there's a specific timeline mentioned in here already? I don't have it pulled up.
Yes, subsection 5 says, applicants shall submit completed petitions to the clerk on or before the date established by CCC. So that will all be set out by CCC, what the schedule would be.
Right. Yeah, I just want to make sure that, that since we're kind of coming up with some stand or something like that, just making sure that we don't just say we have a vacancy and then 3 days, get your signatures in, and off we go with interviews. Just being mindful that you're now asking for additional step that an applicant wants to, that has to, I guess, another hoop to jump through. So,
And the other part, Alder Tischler, your comment, I mean, as it stands now, 19 signatures is not enough. They wouldn't qualify to move on.
right. I was just thinking of if somebody's making a mistake, and not having, having somebody sign it from in a different district, for example. So
That would knock them out. It would not be, their name would not go forward if they did not have 20.
Right. That's why I wanted to kind of bring up the fact that we have to. These many cases might be people who the first time they are submitting, wanting to step into a role that we all, many of us here in the room hold. So I just don't want to have this become a barrier for a qualified person to serve with us on the council.
Thank you, Alder. I will say my intention is to create consistency, so I definitely would not want a 3 or 5 day wait period of any sort. I think there is a balance that needs to be struck, and I need to continue talking with the clerk's office on this, which is why the motion to re-refer, I suppose. But questions from Alder Longkella?
I just agree with Alder Tischler about the number of days, not just about qualification, but also you could be out of town and this thing comes up really fast. And it just happened to me. So I'm just, so giving enough time for applicants to go around and get collecting, it's definitely something in consistency instead of each one having a different date. Just have a standard number of days. I think it helps.
Thank you. Alder Uger?
Thank you, Chair. Also, question for Attorney Haas. Does the statute provide what action would be taken if there are no persons applying?
The statute allows a lot of leeway for the council to determine what their procedures would be. And so if there are no applicants, it either remains vacant or the council then decides to try another process.
Okay. So we really, if we make this amendment to the statute, we don't have to come up with an exception. Those already exist in terms of the latitude that the council has.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alder. Great. If there is no more discussions or questions, is there a motion to refer to the next council meeting?
Motion to refer to the next council meeting?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion from Alder Longkella and a second from Alder Tischler. Any objections to that motion? Seeing none, the motion is passed, and we move on to the next agenda item. Legistar 88520, my bad. Legistar 88850, which is options for format and venue of staff updates to council. Okay. I did not realize I'd be speaking from the chair this much today with no objections. I hope that's fine. So this is following up from discussion from the executive council meeting from last month. And I'm sharing a bit from what President Bittiver wants to share as well is we've been having discussions on how to best provide information to council which might not be in the way of staff presentations. We've had some alders reach out saying that staff presentations have not always been the most efficient use of our time. Earlier this session, we had a presentation where we saw how long we spend on staff presentations. Sometimes it's as less as 30 minutes, sometimes it's as long as 2.5 hours. So we wanted to make sure that alders are efficiently using their time and getting the information that they need to do their job. So as council leadership has been having discussions with this, we wanted to create a space for in-depth discussions about large issues that the city is facing. So Alder Vitiver and I, along with Karen and a couple others, have figured that the big issue that most alders have come up and spoken to us about is the homeless shelter and just homelessness in general. It's a big issue that the city is facing, especially with the budget coming up. So we proposed on September 30th, we're going to have a council of a whole kind of meeting. And this is up for discussion, then we can talk about this as well. But we're proposing that on September 30th, we have a council of a whole meeting where all of the alders are invited, and we have members from the city staff come to present us with in-depth information about what is happening with homelessness. It might be Jim O'Keefe from his department. It might be other departments as well. It should be, the idea is on this day, alders should have an expectation of getting a lot of information, being able to ask a lot of questions, and come out with a good amount of understanding on the topic. So when you get information or questions from your constituents, you can give them the information that they're looking for, or if you don't have it, you can refer them to the right place. Currently, as we're dealing with the homeless shelter, the men's homeless shelter specifically, there's a lot of partnerships that we are trying to manage, the city is trying to manage, whether it's with the county or other nonprofits. So it's a very delicate situation that alders should be aware of what's happening. So we wanted to bring this up to council essentially to make sure everyone is well educated. If there are other potential topics for these larger discussion-oriented opportunities, we do encourage alders to reach out to council leadership. And as far as format, I do want to say that we're aiming to do hybrid for ease of access, but it's a very early on thought process at this moment. We will be getting more details out soon as possible, but if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them now, but that's kind of what we want to let you guys know early on right now. Cool. We have Alder Duncan. How do I unmute him? Oh, Alder Duncan, you're unmuted.
Thank you, Chair. Just a question with the council on the whole, would that be where we have to meet quorum, or would we just be doing a discussion meeting where we would not have to meet quorum?
We would not have to meet quorum. Attorney Haas, can you fill in the specific details there? Yeah.
I think we do, but quorum is 11, not 14.
Okay.
Not
We don't? For committee of the whole?
common council discussion, not committee of the whole.
Oh, apparently it's a common council discussion meeting, which is different from committee of the whole, so I stand corrected. Apparently we do not need quorum for those meetings.
But we'll certainly work out these details to make sure we're all 100% clear on an agreement. Thank you.
As I mentioned, early discussions. Alder, was that your question?
Yeah.
Yep, that was it.
Right, thank you. Alder Tischler?
Yeah, and just for clarification, if we did, let's say 11 people did decide to attend or more, would there be any items that we'd be voting on, or there's just discussion, no voting whatsoever? So
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, it would just be an opportunity for alders to get information, essentially. So there will be no council business. Anyone can still attend, the public can attend, the press can attend. It'll still be noticed as a public meeting, but no votes, maybe roll call at most. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
And just a follow-up question, if I may. We're still going to be bringing the items back to the council with the expectation that those who couldn't attend, I'm not trying to get myself out of attending by this line of questioning, but it certainly sounds that way. But hypothetically, if I did not attend, is the expectation then that alders, would watch the material? Would there be any summaries, executive summaries that we could get prior to coming back to the council? And then, and I guess how much time are we going to have between this information session discussion and when it comes back to the council?
I don't know if there's anything specifically that'll be coming back to council. Think about this as instead of having a staff presentation at the start of every council meeting, it is a set-alone meeting for this presentation. Alder Vitiver suggested 3 hours. Now, I don't know if it's going to go 3 hours, but that is the time that we have booked out the chamber out for. And it's an opportunity, essentially, again, unsure if anything will be coming back to council, but any alder can take that information, write an ordinance or resolution, and then bring that to council, introduce it at the next meeting. The goal more so was to introduce alders at a time specifically where we feel like we have the information available to make decisions prior to the budget, to do community engagement before the budget, and engage with other stakeholders before the budget in November. So we're trying to figure it out. September 30th is the day we landed on because it's when the least amount of committees meet. There might still be one or two, but it's the day that we suspect that most alders might have some availability. It is a Tuesday, and one of those off weeks where council isn't meeting. So that is why we picked that date specifically. Initially, I think Alder Vitiver wanted to do October 30th or so, but we figured to do it earlier so there's time between the information gathering or information sharing and the budget votes.
Yeah, October 30th is my mother's birthday, so I couldn't do that one. But
It's fine. Thank you. Of course. Any other questions? Oh, Alder Lonkela?
Yeah, it's just since it's all presentations and discussion, is it wise to consider all virtual? It's probably just suggestion or thinking you can see better actually on a screen than actually looking from here as well.
Yes, I think we haven't, I don't know if we fully have made a decision on whether it's going to be hybrid or virtual. We know for sure it's very unlikely to be just in person. I think having it hybrid gives alders the opportunity to go in person or virtual, depending on their own preference. We've heard from some alders, like myself, for example, I prefer to be in person because it's a little bit easier for me to understand and collaborate in a much more interactive space. I will say the format that we're having this meeting, it will not be as much Robert's rules. You will not be limited to speak for 10 minutes or speak only twice or so. There will be reasonable limitations if needed, for example, like we will see, and that meeting will likely be chaired by the president instead of the mayor, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, when we have a more solid idea, I will let you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Great. Alder Field.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
Alder, can you try again? You were cutting out.
Apologies, I'm on the bus. So this.
I fear you might have to wait until you are off that bus. Okay. Any other questions or discussions from folks? And as I mentioned, as we get more information, we do encourage you all to reach out to me or President Vitiver or the council staff as well, and just let us know your thoughts and ideas for this kind of thing. Again, we haven't done something like this before. We want to make sure that there is an opportunity that alders get the information they need, but if they feel like they don't need this information, then you are able to skip this meeting, of course. So we're just experimenting, essentially. This is an experiment. Alder Lonkela?
And we can send you the request for the things that we want to cover in that meeting?
Yes. If you want to talk about other issues, whether it be housing or purple stuffed animals, then we are happy to have meetings on those. If leadership agrees with your priorities, or the executive committee more likely, but yeah. Oh, Alder Matthews, go ahead.
Since it seems like, I mean, we're going to move on and be done probably before Alder Field is back. I thought I maybe heard the word public comment, so I'm just going to ask the question, is this a meeting that would have public comment, or is it just, I mean, it's an open meeting, but it's more so just for us to discuss and have a presentation?
Great question. Alder Field also texted me that same question, so I suppose that is his question. The answer is there will be no public comment. It'll just be an opportunity for alders and the staff to speak. Great. Any final thoughts before moving on? Okay, with no objection, the next council agenda item is Legistar 88520, which is council office updates from the Chief of Staff. Karen?
Thank you very much. I am going to share. I think a couple reminders. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. Oh, sorry. So again, our Alder retreat is on Saturday, September 13th. That will be noticed as well. We just discussed the discussion on the September 30th. If you'd like to register for the YWCA Racial Justice Summit, the deadline is August 29th. And then I wanted to spend just a little bit of time on this. So due to federal law, we, by April of 2026, need to have all of our public-facing web content accessible according to a number of standards. The IT is leading this effort, and it will impact Alder blogs. So I was doing a review, and one thing that I think that we could start doing now, the Alders can start doing now without too much difficulty, is avoiding using all caps when writing any content in your blogs. Now, I know that you post things from agencies and you can't control what they do. They'll be getting trained and we'll be going from there. But when you are writing a headline for your blog, please avoid all caps, because I believe there's some challenge with screen reading, and it affects that. So one of the simple things that they are going to be expecting of us is that we don't do that. So just starting easy, and I'll have more information for you as we continue on. I just wanted to flag that as something we can start early on. So I don't have much in the way of an update. We've been working on the, what in the world? Oh, okay, it was flashing. That was interesting. We've been working on the discussion. We've been working on the retreat. And so, yeah, any questions anybody has?
Alder Longkella?
So you mentioned there's going to be more details on the content there. We're going through the same thing with the state right now. It's a federal requirement. Are you going to provide any document for us to follow? And
yes, I believe so. IT is working on a number of guidance documents and trainings as well. And I expect that I'll probably be working with the web team to figure out the best ways to get that information to you all, so that you know what you're responsible for, what we're responsible for, what the other agencies are responsible for when it comes to your blogs. Because the blogs, I think, are the main thing that we need to worry about with y'all. So, yeah, I think we're going to have to build it out for you.
especially like the alt tags for image pictures, right?
that's it.
Those are the things like
I was thinking about that.
for disabled people, how can they, by just, if they can't see the picture, what does it say, right? So those are the required fields.
Yep. It will take, exactly, alt text is one of the things that I'm thinking about that will definitely be relevant to the alders, because using photos and that sort of thing in their blogs, they do have to take that. That is actually something you could practice doing. You can do it now.
Yep.
To practice just putting in a short, clear description of the photo or image that you're providing in your blog. You can go ahead and start that. There will be some other interesting nuances here. I think one of our challenges that we're going to have is that we receive content from other places, and so how do we then properly post that content? And we're still waiting to find out. And it may also mean that we may be retaining the right as staff to go in and do some kind of tweaking without having to, just sort of everyone understands that if we see something like in all caps or something's missing, instead of, we may just decide that it's better for us to just go in and fix that for you. But I think we'll get there. When we get there, we'll figure out how to do that, because we don't usually like to do too much like that. We like to let you take care of things, but because this is something we're going to be held to, we also need to have a fail-safe so that it needs to get fixed. So we'll be coming out with some more information as we get closer. But yeah.
More challenging when we start getting it from our externals there.
Yeah.
Example, PDF is also one of them.
Yeah, PDF.
We can't change the PDF, but according to the feds, we are supposed to do that too.
Yeah, and it has some implications actually for a number of things, like Legistar, for example, which is another piece of this that we're working with IT on. Yeah, you're right.
Thank you, Alder. Alder Tischler?
Yeah, and just for disclosure, I was a broadcast specialist for Wisconsin Public Television for almost a decade, and then current title, I'm a media specialist at the university. My question is regarding closed captioning for video material, if there's a lot of material that's currently not closed captioned. And I'm wondering if with this changes with our blogs, with websites, are we also going to be applying resources towards closed captioning videos of exciting programs like we're watching, like what we're doing right now?
I'm not sure that I can really speak with authority on that. I am not sure if there's anyone on the call from IT who'd be comfortable speaking on that. Definitely there are things, I can think of things that are relevant to this question, but I don't want to speak out of turn. So I'm going to defer to IT on that.
I'm just speaking just to kind of raise awareness, not asking for a question, but fortunately the machine captioning technology has gotten a lot better in recent years, but still needs a human kind of looking at it to making sure it's correct. But yeah, I just wanted to raise that as something we need to maybe think about possibly budgeting for so not to overwhelm our IT staff.
Cool. Thank you, Alder. Alder Uguer?
Thank you, Chair. Karen, do we anticipate that these rules would also impact materials that we would be using in a neighborhood meeting, let's say to present a development, or an older information meeting, a more general meeting?
I don't know enough about it to say exactly which materials, because I just know that the public-facing websites, that's what I know. Okay. That's been the focus of our attention. But I think it still behooves us we can get clarification on what the law requires, but it still behooves us to think about these things when we're doing those meetings, right? So we'll be learning a lot of tools and I think techniques that we can then apply more widely as well. But we can get clarification on that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alder. Alder Lonkala?
I just wanted to add to that one, right? So I think at least as a state, we are trying to meet the federal requirement first and then going on to the next ones later, because the federal requirement, I think they're going to start fining after the date how many days and how many pages you have, how many those things. So we're just only meeting that first and then think about the next step. Just what we're doing at the state.
Thank you. Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none. Next agenda item. Alder Tischler.
Yeah, on that note, we should also establish, what date this is effective, because we may have, we don't want to be taking down material that might need to, so we have a go forward date for all content. So I'm glad you brought that point up.
Thank you, Alder Longcalla.
Yeah, so I just,
Nope. My bad. Go ahead.
it's the new content. I think if anything, like PDFs and everything that is old ones, we don't have to change that one. It's, I think, any new documents that are getting generated after that date is what the federal requirement is.
My understanding is that there is going to be some impact on archiving. We're going to have to do some archiving of older pages. So, but they're aware of that and it has come up. Again, I would leave it to IT web team to be the experts in this one, and I don't want to speak out of school, but I do know that has come up and it will be impacting prior content in a sense of like, they have a way for us to handle, for example, Alder blog content that's already been there in a particular type of archiving, and then we'll get information to you, but yeah, that there is some impact there that we need to consider.
Because we got to go back and change all our blog posts as well from the past.
Alder Tischler?
Yeah, I guess I don't want this as an excuse to remove past content without Alder approval. So, I mean, I just want to bring that issue up.
Sorry about that. Yeah, we do actually anyway. We have, there's some things that happen with it. So, and this is going into the weeds and I apologize to anybody watching this. When a new alder gets appointed, their name goes on top of all the old blogs, which is very disconcerting because if you Google search some blog on a certain topic, you'll get, sometimes you can find that and it'll be like the new alder's name with the old alder's content, which can actually be quite disconcerting. And so what we do, what we've started doing, which I really like, is I don't remember the right terminology. We do a thing where we take it off the public face, but you all can still see it in your user dashboard. Because the idea there was, well, let's say that your predecessor was quite a prolific blogger and they did quite a bit. And we don't necessarily want you to lose that ability to sort of go see what they've been up to, maybe use the content again, et cetera, et cetera. So and again, Eric Olson from IT will help make this be right in terms of like professional expertise. But what we decided was that was a nice way to handle it so it's not confusing to the public. Or, another thing, this has happened where people have Googled something and it come up from 2023 and then we got a web feedback or we got, like, what is this? And it's like, oh, that's actually old content. And so we want to make sure that it's clear to the public what's current content, what's old content, which author wrote the content. But at the same time, we wanted to make sure that you all had access to content behind the scenes in case you needed it for your research or for your blog writing. So I've been trying to kind of walk that line there so that we meet as many needs as we can, as we do. And they have it in the vault. So like in theory, doesn't go away forever. It just turns into you'd be no better than I would, some text. It's not pretty, but they can pull it up no matter what. So
I have content from 1994 with Netscape Navigator, so you'd be surprised it's out there.
Thank you, Alder. Yes, I would certainly say very valid points there, and I'm sure, Karen, you will keep us updated on everything is happening here. We will hear about it at future CCEC meetings. No questions from Zoom. Great. We're going to move on to the next agenda item, which is number 88519, future agenda items. I don't remember how we normally do this.
Just ask if anyone has any. They can say it now or send it to us.
Yep. If anyone has any agenda items to add for future council meetings or executive council meetings, please state your case now or email us later. Alder Tischler?
I do have one. I mean, if we will be selecting a new chief of police soon, so I would like at some point to get on the calendar to revisit the issue of body cameras. So, thank you.
Yes. Wonderful. Yes. I will also take this moment to just share again as a reminder, not a future agenda item, but please mark September 30th on your calendar for the homelessness presentation. We will send out a save a date and more information soon. But whether it's body cameras or any other major discussions that we need to have, we are experimenting with what the best format to give information to alders is. So if you do have feedback and request and information, please do reach out to me or President Bitterberg directly, or Karen or any council staff. Great. With that, that is the last item on the agenda, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Alder Longfellow.
Motion to adjourn?
Great, thank you. Seconded by Alder Ugair. Is there any objection to record a unanimous vote for adjournment? Seeing no objections, we will record a unanimous vote for adjournment. Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.
Okay.